Hi, this is the Innovation Conversation. I'm Kevin Coop. You can see Tom Furphy on the screen next to me. Tom and I got so used to the idea we like the idea of talking through the subjects that we discuss here on the Innovation Conversation that we decided what we're going to do is we're going to try and do it by Skype and record it and because we just enjoyed being in the same place at the same time. So this is the next best thing. I'm in Connecticut where it's about 30 degrees right now, and Tom, you're someplace where it's a little warmer.
I'm in sunny Scottsdale, Arizona, where it's probably in the low 70s.
Oh, which probably explains why you're wearing the blazer, because you're a little chilly.
A little chilly, yeah.
By standards. So you're at FMI Midwinter in Scottsdale. What's the mood? How does it feel to you being there?
You know, I think it feels. First of all, I think they have near-term record attendance. It's packed here. It's great. I think that I would say the mood, particularly across the retailers generally, is, I would call it, determined. I think you see retailers that have, they've spent the last few years, competing in kind of this new reality of, what Amazon's doing, what Walmart's doing, what Target's doing, and, what shoppers are demanding. And they're basically saying, yeah, I've spent time figuring out what I'm going to do from what's my e-commerce platform. I figured out, what I'm going to do from a kind of delivery or, click and collect standpoint. And now it's really about, how do I really make this work, and how can I lean in and actually be profitable? So I think it's far less a question of if, and now much more a kind of how.
In the past, I've been to a lot of conferences like those where, yeah, people sound determined, but it's sort of conference determined as opposed to determined to really get something done when they go back to their offices. Your sense is they've made a turn.
I think they've made a turn. We are at a conference, so there could be some conference determined in there. But what I will say is when we have these conversations with retailers, and we push quickly into the details of what they're doing and how they're doing it and what they're wrestling with. This is not kind of pie in the sky, hey, I got to go be doing this stuff. This is, I'm doing it today. For me, e-commerce is 5% of my sales. It's not yet tenable from a cost standpoint, but I can see it going to 8, 10, 12, 15. And how do I get it there? Right? What are the capabilities I can bring? Who are the partners I can work with? And really thinking about the customer, right? How do I deliver these experiences to my customers in ways that are valuable to them? We're hearing a lot more of that now.
When they talk about partners, who are they talking about?
Well, we know our Instacart friends are often discussed. I will say, and I know that they're here, I will say that for most retailers, yes, they're a part of their strategy because of the reach that they already have and the solution they've already provided for them. But most retailers I've talked to are developing, at least a complementary strategy to Instacart. Do a little bit more on my own. Maybe I'll invest in, either an e-commerce platform that Instacart enables or my own e-commerce platform, and really think about it that way. And most retailers, don't want to envision a world where Instacart is 20% of their sales. They want to envision a world where they control it.
But they know they can't continue down the path. Even the retailers doing business with Instacart realize that they can't continue down the path they've been on, or they will end up having Instacart doing 20% of their sales, and that's an untenable situation to be in.
Yeah, I don't know that notion is openly discussed. I think you can have,
It is on morning news beat.
Yeah, yes, this is true. And our good friend Karen Short from Barclays was on stage yesterday, and she wrote, that report that you've quoted well more than once, and she was pretty diplomatic about, how she approached it, but she was also very clear that, hey, retailer, if you want to really create, value for your customers, and you want to create value for and of your enterprise, you got to be doing this yourself.
Amazon was there. They were talking. That's got to be, I'm not sure it's the first time they've come to an FMI Midwinter, but they don't do a lot of those kinds of events where they're talking. So what were they talking about?
Yeah, so, and I'm not going to get the woman's name right, but you can certainly look her up on the agenda. She's a relatively new vice president with Amazon, and she's in charge of things like sustainability and compliance and safety and those kinds of things. And she was talking about, how Amazon uses AI and machine learning for a couple of key things. One, she was talking about how they take feedback from customers and apply machine learning to the text string of feedback, and they're able to analyze it. She said that they receive 21 million inquiries from customers per week, and that they apply isn't that crazy? 21 million per week. And what they do is they apply machine learning across, this population of things that customers are talking about. And from there, they're able to use the data to see, okay, which products are causing problems, which products may be a safety issue, which may be a counterfeit issue. And they're able to kind of draw from the data, which products they should go look at, because they have hundreds of millions of products, tens of millions of data points from their customers, and this requires, humans can't possibly wade through all of that.
Are there AI services they're trying to sell to competitive retailers, or they're just, what's their point of being out there talking about this stuff?
That's a great question. They were asked by FMI, to come and, kind of join the industry conversation on things. I don't know what their motivation was. I don't think that they, are talking, at least at this point, of leasing that capability out. Obviously, they do that in a lot of the types of things that they get good at, so maybe they do. I think it was, had a friend from NBC say that they were kind of peacocking, and that they were, they were strutting how good they are at this, and how big they are, and how important these capabilities are. What they didn't talk about.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, so what they didn't talk about was how you can apply that to the customer experience. I mean, that's part of the customer experience, right? Obviously, you want to have good products that are safe and sound and legit and all that. And so that's an important part of the customer experience. But they didn't talk about things like, how do we use, machine learning to do things like auto replenishment or, predictive recommendations and those kinds of things, because that for them is too proprietary.
Just talking about this stuff, just shot in the dark here, just talking about this stuff at industry conferences, is that one way of at least, it's never going to stop antitrust discussions, but at least say, hey, listen, we're involved with the industry. We're trying to raise the water level for everybody. I mean, could that be one of their motivations?
I can't imagine that would be a leading motivation for them. It may be a benefit. But, I think Amazon in general, I think they're trying to become a better citizen, right? They're trying to, they know their customers place a ton of trust in them. They know that they're, a big, commerce engine. They know that they create a lot of waste, with packaging, and, so I think that these are issues that are really important to them. That they want to be out in front of the industry saying, yes, these are things we're working on. We understand that these are significant issues.
And last question. There's big retailers there. There's small retailers there. They're big. They're national retailers, regionals, and there's independents. Is it your sense that the independents are positioning themselves, despite all the financial disadvantages so many of them would have to compete in this arena, to better compete, or at least establish whatever their competitive advantages happen to be?
That's a good question. Scott Moses was on stage yesterday as well, and he always talks about the cost of capital advantage that the big guys have over the little guys, and that's clear. I mean, their ability to invest in and do things generally is far above what a mid-level or very low smaller independent operator could be. I think you find the independent operators to be very scrappy, to definitely understand their customers, to understand their experiences, and they're very interested in how they can work with partners, to build these, to deliver these capabilities. For them, they know they need to keep their customers. They know they need to serve them better.
Anyway, well, listen, this has been fascinating. I wish I were there, because it would be warmer than it is here. I get to hang out with you and all the great folks who attend FMI. I hope this has been as good for you and for our audience as it's been good for me, as it's been for me. This is the Innovation Conversation. We'll see you next time, everybody.